Welcome back to Sawyer Farm. I'm Jacob. Today's video is going to be a lot of chicken talk, and we got actually a lot of things to do dealing with our chickens today. So I'm going to kind of briefly mention what we're going to be doing, and we'll kind of explain a little bit along the way on kind of exactly what we're doing. But right now we are going to be cleaning our coop. We're going to be sticking some straw in the run, and we're going to be doing a dust bath for them. And one of the reasons why we're doing a lot of this, we've actually had an issue here that we haven't really experienced before, and our chickens, they got mites. Now, so I'll kind of backpedal a little bit on how we kind of figured this out. So our chickens weren't laying eggs for a good long while, and it was very odd because it was like kind of peak season for us of the eggs coming in, and they just kind of stopped automatically. And so we were trying to figure out things. We were looking up things, seeing what is causing this. We didn't know if it was the feed. It wasn't really the feed. They're not molting, and you know, it's not the winter. So we were just trying to figure out what is going on, because we haven't, you know, experienced that, just them stopping and then not, you know, giving eggs for like months. I mean, this went on for months. And so, and just one night we were watching YouTube, and it was actually, I think Roots and Refuge was talking about some reasons why chickens don't, you know, lay eggs. And so we were watching them, and she mentioned mites, and it never really dawned on me that could be a problem of them laying eggs. We've never dealt with it before. It just, we've been lucky enough not to deal with it until now. So it's never been on our radar about doing, you know, this type of stuff. So once we figured that out, and then it also kind of put some other things together, some points that we started putting together, and this is another reason for the video. We actually got a really cool feeder, a new feeder we're going to put in the coop. So really stay tuned. You know, we're going to put that together, we're going to show you, and this is really going to be a good feeder. For the issue that we were having was with wild birds coming in. Another thing, if you didn't know, wild birds, they're really notorious for having mites and things like that, and so they can bring those mites. And I think that's one of the main reasons we got the mites, because we normally didn't have that issue before, and so we're thinking that's the main issue. And so we're going to try to correct that as much as possible with keeping wild birds out. So we're going to show you this brand new feeder that we got, and it's going to really, I think, change a lot of the things with the birds and other kind of wild animals. But I'll talk more about the feeder later when we set it up. But that's kind of the situation that we're in with that. And so we're just going to clean all this up. And this is something we needed to do regardless, because, you know, winter's going to be coming up here soon, and we needed to clean the coop out and do all these kind of preparations. But let's get into it and get all this stuff done. All right, I know we probably might get some questions on the dust bath, on what we exactly put in it. And what that bucket was just wood ash from a wood stove. That's all it was just wood ash. And then we sprinkled some diatomaceous earth in there. Not an extreme amount, but just, we didn't measure anything. We just I just guessed it a little bit. I didn't want to go too much. And then just kind of mix it around. We are going to go get a bag of, I believe it's called play sand. I think it's a 50-pound bag, and we're going to put that in there as well. We don't have that right now, but this will do fine. You don't even have to put the play sand in there. We watched a lot of videos, and people, I mean, they put all kinds of different stuff in there, but it seems like most people that can get wood ash use wood ash. Almost everyone uses diatomaceous earth, and then people use sand as well, and there's probably a bunch of other stuff that you could put in there for the chickens and everything, but that's just what we're doing. All right, so another thing that we didn't mention, one of the main reasons too why we're cleaning the coop out and everything, we actually are we started a new flock, and tonight we are going to be bringing all of them over. We got, I think it's 15 kind of teenager chickens, and then we got another set of chickens that are probably like a month younger. All of them, and I think it's close to 30 of them, all of them are going to be coming over into this coop, and this is where they're going to be at now. We think they're big enough and to put them all together. And so that's one reason why we're kind of cleaning everything up. But let's go into the shop, and then pretty much the main thing that's going to help us, and I think help a lot of y'all out, if you're having troubles with birds coming in, or we've had troubles with rats coming in here. I've killed a lot of rats in our coop myself. And so this feeder is going to help out a lot with that, and it's going to help a lot out with saving feed. Y'all know that feed is very expensive right now, and so as much as we don't have to feed wild animals, as much as we don't want to, because we want to feed our chickens and not just wild birds, we can do other things for them, but not this chick feed. So let's go over there and I'll show you this new feeder that we got and explain more about it. All right, y'all, so this is the feeder that we were talking about. I really think this is going to help us a lot with the problem that we're having with the birds, and I'll go into good detail on why I think that is. But so the company that owns this feeder, that makes it, is actually RentACoop. It's the same company that, if you watched our previous video of building that brooder with the cups, we started using those cups and we really were liking them, and so we actually contacted the company. We looked at them, kind of see what they were about, and they're a family-owned company, and we just kind of contacted them. We started talking back and forth, and they were willing to sponsor the channel, and so that's why, just so you know, they did give us this for free. They gave us a couple other things that we'll review later, but just want to let y'all know that for anyone that's wondering. But I'm giving you an honest review. Just because they gave it to us for free doesn't mean I'm going to talk it up as much as they may want, but I'm just going to tell you exactly what everything is. I really do feel like, though, this is really going to help out, and this is why I feel that way. So this is actually galvanized aluminum. It's built very well. We got it out of the box. It took us not even 5 minutes to put together. It's very simple. Just look at their instructions for a few seconds, and it's kind of simple just putting it all together. So the actual design, this actually holds 25 pounds of feed. You can buy extra kind of stacks to where you can get 70 pounds. They recommend to stop at 70 pounds, but you can scale this particular, this one's called the Treadle feeder. And so this right now, is the way you see it, is 25 pounds. You can buy extra ones, like I said, for 70 pounds. But where this kind of comes in for us and everyone else that's had to deal with wild birds, we've had to deal with rats, eating our chicken feed, and just say other animals. This is going to help out with that, I think, tremendously. And the reason why is, so you have your feed here that goes in the back, and you shut it here, and they actually have these springs that you put down in the holes, and that keeps it from a coon pulling it up, or a kind of a bigger animal. And so that kind of locks the top in. Now this is where it comes in. It has these sides here. The chicken, or maybe a smaller chicken, come up here, and then when they step on this, it raises it up. And so back in here is where the feed comes in. Now they do have a tray right here that is adjustable for your feed. We have ours, put down, so it's already locked in, but this, as you can see these little holes, they can come up more, so you have a different flow rate of your feed. Has these grates in here to keep it from chickens, smashing around and throwing feed out. So I really like to see that. Yeah, so when they step on here, it opens up, they kind of eat on it, and then when they back off, it shuts it. Now, you may be asking, well, how does that keep a rat out? The reason it does is because it's ran off of a weight, and also that's why it keeps a bird out, because this goes from 1.5 pounds to 3 pounds is what sets this off, because bantams are smaller than some certain certain breeds. And so if you're using it for that, they have a weight right in here. If you have, say, bantams or smaller chickens, you take these screws down, there's a little weight right there, and you can take that out so the bantams can actually, push it up. So that's how it kind of prevents the birds coming in there, because they're not heavy enough to actually press this thing down and to start eating it. That's the whole kind of concept of why the other animals and stuff can't get to it. And also at night, this is also meant for, it's an indoor outdoor setup, and this can be outdoors. It's 100% waterproof. That's what they advertise and everything. And this right here sets in here is a rain cover for that if you're having it outside. Now they say you don't have to have this if it's in the coop. But one thing we were reading some comments, and that some people said they liked having this on in the coop because it can prevent other chickens from, say, jumping and hitting. I'll show you here. You see, this is the door, and the chicken's head's come in here. Maybe you got a wild chicken that jumps and steps on this. It could push it down on them. So just keep that in mind. That's maybe why a good idea to keep this on there, even inside of a coop. I don't think that's going to kill the chicken, but it's just something that can prevent it, doing it that way. And so another thing, say this is outdoors. Now, we've never really had a big issue of coons, coming into our coop. We haven't, had that problem. But say this is outside, and say you have coons that come around and get into your feed. The other way, because you may be asking, like, well, a coon can press on this and lift it up. They're heavy enough, they can press it up and they can start eating it. The one way you can do that, how they fix it, is you get this little latch here, and there's one on the other side, and then, of course, this one is always on for the lid. Goes in there, and that locks down to where it's a lot harder for them to... let me lock this one down. It's a lot harder. I mean, I'm pressing pretty hard, which a coon I don't think is going to be able to press that hard. It's just going to deter them a lot more than it just being wide open. So that's one thing that you can do that they have, is press that down. That kind of locks everything down. Now, another thing is there's a training period for this system, because not every chicken's going to know, hey, step on this thing and get your feed. And so they really thought about a lot of this stuff, so I really kind of like it. So the training period, when we first get this, and this is what we're going to be doing, is you see these little holes. So right here they have these screws. Let me grab them. So they have these screws, and there's one on each side. So this is the same thing on the other side. And what you do is you open this up, and then you screw that in there, okay? Oops. See if I can get it in there. Just kind of screw it in there. I'll tighten it later. But that over there, okay, come over here, it leaves it open. Now there'll be another screw over here, and it holds it open, so this it doesn't close. And so what that does is the chickens will come and they'll eat, and you do this for 1 week. Let it sit like this for 1 week, so your chickens know, hey, there's food in here. They get comfortable with sitting up on here, and they know the food is here. So after a week, then you come back over here, take the screw out, and the one on the other side, and stick it on this little hole right here. So then now you got it in the other hole. Now it used to be in this one, so now it comes down. And if you look over here, it's down just a little bit more. A chicken probably would get in there a little bit, but they're still gonna have to step on this and it's gonna raise. So it's gonna raise up a little bit and they'll get their feed, but they're still being able to see it and it's not, closed. You do that for 1 more week. Okay, so that would be 2 weeks. You had your first week, then you do this next one for 1 week. Then when you come to the 3rd week, you take this screw out completely, and then now it's what they say, 3rd week and beyond. So this is what it's going to be like now. They should be used to stepping on this, and now they know it'll press up all the way, because when they step on it, it's always going to go up a little bit. So they'll be used to this thing moving since probably day 1. It'll always be moving when they step on it. And then that's pretty much the training period. You just leave it that way and have your chickens enjoy their feed. So all in all, I think this is a pretty good product. I think it's built well. And like we said, we really do think the company is good. It's a family-owned company. And we haven't actually used this thing yet, so we can't say that it's 100% the best thing ever made. But we will use it and come back and actually give a good review. But I really feel like it's gonna work out exactly the way they advertise it and everything. So I got no issues of that, but I do want to kind of test it out and make sure everything's good to go with it. But guys, so the last thing we got to do is just pretty much fill the feeder, stick it out in the chicken coop. We are going to be moving our chicks over there tonight because that's where they're going to be going, and we're doing it tonight because chickens are a lot more docile at night. They just kind of chillax, and so it's a lot easier picking them up and moving them. You're not chasing them around all the time like you do during the day. So whenever we move chickens, it's always at night, and that's the best kind of time to do it. So we're gonna go fill this feeder up and go stick it in the coop.